So hi everyone, welcome to today's session on how to land in your first data privacy role with me, Pakhi, Garg. And this is the website, that is www.worldcybersecurities.com. Okay. Now, this is a very crucial point, when somebody wants to actually make their career or wishes to land themselves into the role of data privacy. So I will be discussing each and every aspect of it and how it will eventually help you out. But before then that, let me introduce myself. So as I have mentioned, my name is Pakhi Garg, and I have a vast experience of working as an in-house counsel with Gartner and PwC. I'm the co-founder of World Cyber Security Forum, and I used to be the alumni of ALS and ILI New Delhi. So my interviews on various international and national platforms have been published. So far, I was being awarded for my leadership skills in 2022. Apart from that, I am a constant writer and a researcher, and my articles got placed in various English and Hindi newspapers, which are available online as well as offline. So I have been constantly invited by various colleges, schools, and institutions to conduct various kind of sessions and trainings in regard to that. So let's move ahead. Now, I will be talking in terms of what we are going to cover today, right? So firstly, we are going to talk about why data privacy is important in today's world, followed by various diverse roles and responsibilities, along with how to build your skills and knowledges, plus the strategies for networking and job hunting, and followed by the tips for acing interviews and landing in that first role. I hope everybody is quite excited because I'm too excited to take up this call. So let's dive in. Now talking about setting up the stage for why data privacy, right? So there are n number of factors for that. The number one factor is the data explosion. So we eventually generate a lot of astonishing amount of data every day, from our online searches and social media interactions to our financial transactions and health records. So this kind of a data is actually valuable to various businesses, organizations, government, and even individuals. So that is a kind of a explosion because everything and everybody is active on internet. Without internet, we can't imagine our lives. We are in that era. Now, when we are so much indulged or evolved in the data explosion, it also raises the high concerns, right? Because the misuse of data will eventually lead to serious consequences. Sorry. What could be those consequences? Data breaches, targeted advertising, surveillances, right? For the data breaches, we have seen numerous examples of hackers stealing sensitive personal information, leading to identity theft, financial fraud, and reputational damage, which is quite a problematic thing. Followed by the targeted advertisements. So basically, companies actually track down our online behavior to deliver personalized ads, right? Which can be feel invasive and manipulative sometimes. Because if you start searching about shoes or sneakers, then they will start popping up even to your email. So that is a part of a behavioral monitoring or targeted advertising. Then the surveillance. Government and corporations use our data to actually monitor about our activities, raising concerns about our privacy and freedom. Because if we keep on being seen, if we have that kind of a factor that somebody is watching us every time, somebody is hearing our conversation or reading our messages, then this is somewhere the privacy actually lacks, right? Your right to privacy, your right to liberty, your right to express freedom of speech and expression, everything is compromised, right? So these are the some of the concerns in the data privacy field. But as I told you that the data is explosive, the technological area is there. We are living in that area where things are driving off crazily. Secondly, there are always rising concerns because we are more close towards the misuse of the personal data or related things. So does the career opportunities. Because when there is one positive, one negative, then of course, to fulfill that kind of a gap, there's always an opportunity. So in that field of data privacy, that is a career opportunity, right? So these concerns eventually has raised a lot of urgent requirements for data privacy professionals to fill in those positions who can actually help the organizations to collect, use, and store the data responsibly. And as I said, that this is a growing field where there's a lot of a demand and a wide range of career paths is available. So the companies are actually willing to hire and pay more to the young and the bright minds. So there's a huge growth in the career opportunities in the field of data privacy. Now, before I move on, can you actually think about how much data you generate in a single day? From your morning coffee order to your phone to your evening Netflix binge, every action leaves a digital footprint because wherever you go, your digital footprints will follow you. So this kind of a data is actually gold mine for the businesses, right? Because it has a great potential to steal, to be reused, to whatever. Because we generally think that data is very wasteful. For example, I personally don't like one thing that I have been constantly observing on various kind of a social media, that just to get comments, just to get some views, just to get some likes and share, people ask the for their followers or other people to leave in their email IDs. And trust me, this practice will eventually cause a lot of things to you because you are voluntarily sharing your personal details with them in that chat box, right? If somebody is willing to help you, they may reach out to you over a DM, they might share a link with you, then why are they asking you to drop down the email? Have you ever thought about it? If not, then please do think about it. If I am willing to help you, if I am there to help you out with a checklist, why will I ask you to publicly disclose your email address? And one important thing to also know, that email, that particular email address which you are dropping in there, that might be your official registered email address with your bank, with your Aadhaar, with your other important transactional things, right? So being from this field, you have to be very particular of what the other person is asking, and is the intention nullified or bona fide. That is the one thing that you have to realize. And of course, you have to aware people about it also. Because there are horror stories in regard to the data breaches, identity theft, and the misuse of personal information. Now, of course, these incidents have eventually made data privacy a top concern for the individuals. And of course, governments and businesses are no exceptions to it. So in that case, of course, there is a huge growth in the opportunity because these are the people that are eventually going to help the organizations to build up the trust, to protect their customers and protect themselves from the expensive or hefty fines, right? Now let's move ahead. Understanding the data privacy landscape. So while talking about the key regulations, here I have mentioned two key regulations for now, GDPR and CCPA. Reason being because we have talked about GDPR and CCPA in our last session. Another regulations means DPDP Act, Australian Privacy Act, or any other local or international thing. There's no international law, but there are national laws, right? So somehow or the other, these landmark regulations actually give the residents or give their people the significant control over their personal data, which includes various kind of rights, right? Right, right to access, right to rectify, right to erasure, right to forgotten, right to nominate, so on and so forth. Companies also have to pay a hefty fines if they eventually fail to protect the rights of the data subjects or the data consumers, right? Same goes with the CCPA or CPRA. So under this act, the consumers are given the similar right and imposes strict requirements on businesses that collects data if they don't follow. Then other regulations. For example, HIPAA is talking about the healthcare sector. COPA is for children's privacy, right? And DPDP talks about Indian citizens or any other kind of a regulation that you may think of. So to understand the data privacy landscape, you first need to understand these key regulations. The world's most stringent law is GDPR, data privacy law. So if you know GDPR, it won't be much difficult for you to understand other laws. I'm not saying that each and every law is same, but I'm saying that because GDPR is one of the most stringent laws, please do take it very seriously. It's not an easy game. It's not a cup of tea. So in that way, first you have to understand what are the key regulations attached to it. Then you have to understand the roles and responsibility. Once you understand the key regulations, that's okay. You may know that. Many people are being on the left part of the PPT for now. They might know everything. What about how you are going to reach to the right? That is roles and responsibility. So once you have the knowledge of the key regulations and you are ready to implement them in your organization or business, then comes into the picture your roles and responsibility in the shoes of DPO, privacy engineer, privacy counsel, consultant, analyst, so on and so forth. Because these are the roles and responsibilities generally that companies have. The DPO is the highest on all the in this hierarchy, followed by privacy engineer, privacy analyst, consultant, counsel, and of course the legal team, right? So if you are on the left, it takes a lot of efforts to be on the right. And that is what we are going to discuss today. But before that, let me help you out a bit about what does all these roles do. So talking about the DPO, so it is often mandated by law in certain situations. Right now, DPO is compulsory in DPDP only when the significant data fiduciary is there, right? And what's their responsibility? Developing and implementing various data protection strategies, conducting audits, and ensuring compliances. That is the responsibility of DPO. Another important role is privacy engineer. So these are the technical experts who design and implement privacy enhancing technologies such as encryption, anonymization, and access control. Then comes the privacy analysts. So privacy analysts basically assess risks, conduct PIAs, and monitor with privacy policies and regulations. Then privacy consultant. These professional advises company on data privacy best practices, help them develop policies and procedures, and conduct training for the employees. So each company has a different kind of a role. In some, you may be termed as privacy counsel, in some you may be termed as analyst, in some you may be termed as consultant. It depends. Now let's talk about what are some of the skills that are in demand. The number one is the legal skill, that is 90%, right? A strong understanding of data protection law is actually essential, as I have mentioned earlier. But of course, you don't have to be necessarily need to be a lawyer. It's not like that. If you don't hold a LLB or a 5-year integrated degree or a JD, then you can't be into data privacy. It's just that your basics has to be clear. Because I have trained so many people who are from the technical background and have made them ready to go ahead for these kind of roles, and they have zero knowledge about the legal things. So Basic knowledge about the legal is must if you are from technical background. Then comes the technical. Familiarity with the data security concepts, programming languages, privacy enhancing technologies is a major asset. Your basics should be rock solid in terms of technical terms. Why I'm saying this, that they should be rock solid, just for a simple reason that if you lack the technical understanding, you won't be able to conduct various data privacy practices to ensure the safety of your own organization or even your client organization. You can't say that just because I have the legal degree, I have the law degree, I don't know anything about the technical terms, that is acceptable. No, that's not. So, as I have mentioned, legal and technical goes hand in hand. You have to be very much familiar with both of them. Your basics should be clear. Then the soft skills, excellent communication, problem solving skills, collaboration skills, analytical skills. These are actually very crucial for working with the diverse stakeholders, because our job is to explain the complex terms in simple language, neither technical nor legal. Now, when we see, actually the data privacy landscape is quite complex and is constantly evolving. Every day we see a lot of new laws are being passed, technologies are changing, and the public expectations are shifting. This is why it's so important to have a solid understanding of the key regulations that govern how data can be used, collected, and stored. And of course, within this landscape, there are various roles that comes with their own unique responsibilities. And of course, once you understand these roles, only then you will be able to identify the path that best aligns with your interests and skills. To excel in this field, you need the blend of technical, soft skills, and legal, all three. You don't have to worry if you lack any one or two skills apart from these skills, because they can definitely be developed through reading and through education, experiences, and ongoing learnings. The only key is to be adaptable, curious, and passionate about protecting people's privacy. Because if you're passionate about something, you will definitely decode it in a very easy manner. Now let's talk about how you can actually build your own foundation. Talking about building your foundation always comes from the education, right? So the first and the most important part of the education is degrees. A formal degree is a great starting point, especially if you are interested in this particular field of privacy or law degree is important. Actually, it eventually opens a lot doors to you as a privacy law firms, corporate legal departments, regulatory agencies. You will become an expert in interpreting and applying the data protection laws. Then, if you have a degree in computer science or information security, this will also give you an upper hand, as it gives you the technical foundation to understand how the data is being collected, stored, and processed, and how you are going to implement security measures to protect it. Followed by if you are from the business background or ethics background, it is again beneficial, because you never know that it may align with your career goals, right? Then comes the importance of certification. Under the field of data privacy, certification plays a pivotal role. We can't ignore them. Even if you have a formal education, formal degree, certification has their own roles in demonstrating your knowledge, because certifications revolve around the practical training, while the degrees more revolve around the theoretical aspects, right? What are some of the certifications? like the data protection officers training that we had launched. That will probably be starting in August. So that's a kind of a training where you will be trained on how you are going to become the data protection officer. What are the things that the data protection officers actually look. And of course, the name is hands-on training. So the attendees will be provided with the proper hands-on training in regard to the data protection officer, what they do in their regular day to day. For example, cookie auditing, PIA, DPIA, PETs, right? Audits, notices, looking into privacy policies, looking into the internal policies and internal data. These are the kind of a certification that you may require. Apart from that, IAPP also conducts various kind of a certification, but I don't, these certifications are very crucial, but I won't suggest to simply go out and take that certification until and unless you have some of the basics clear, because it's going to be a havoc journey for you if you go up and take those expensive certifications at one instance. Because talking in terms of those particular certifications that IAPP provides, they are very good in reading and structuring, but they are very much expensive when converted to Indian currency. You have to invest at least 60,000-70,000 at least. And also, you have to understand that no certifications give a job guarantee. Because if you are just a graduate and if you are just pursuing a certificate, then it may not be sufficient at that stage, right? What will be sufficient and how you are going to pursue it? First, you're completing your journey, your degrees. Then you are taking up the some kind of a practical certification, and you are constantly studying about it. You're constantly evolving yourself. Only then those certification will be beneficial to you. Apart from that, there are many online courses, practical trainings and boot camps which are budget friendly, and they also tell you about the fundamentals of data privacy, right? So in that way, you can definitely go ahead with some kind of a practical trainings and courses, because you definitely have to make up a start point. It couldn't be a case where you are going through with each and every segment, because there's a lot of things to read. But always try to refer those things that have a clear validation, who have experience, who knows what to teach and how to teach. Just don't run behind this thing that this course is expensive and this course is cheap, so I should take the cheap one. Maybe the quality is not doing the justice. Maybe even if you are spending just 500, 800, or maybe $1,000, that is not sufficient, and you ended up wasting that hard-earned money. So be very particular while you are opting for the trainings and certifications. Then experiences, how you are going to take the experience. Trust me when I say this, right now, all the expensive products which are into the market of data privacy, nobody is actually providing any kind of an internship and volunteer work apart from WCSR. That is why we have launched the 2-week internship program with the DPO and CIPP e-trainings. That is applicable only for those 2 courses for now. However, we are planning to expand that, and probably by New Year, that is 2025, we will reach out to new heights. So what I was saying is nobody is going to provide you with the internship, but we believe, and I do believe in that fact, that merely reading or coming to the lectures or taking up lectures is not sufficient. If you are very serious about your career, you have to learn, and you have to learn by volunteering, by interning. Every day I receive at least 10 plus CVs every day. Some of them are so particular that they are ready to contribute in whatever way. They don't have any problem with the timings. They don't have any problem with the pay scale. They don't have any problem with regard to that. And that is what I appreciate personally. Because they have that passion, they have that zeal to fulfill their internships, their responsibilities. So you have to develop that kind of a zeal in yourself, that you will take the volunteer work, you will take the internship. Even if, let's assume, you are somebody, you are maybe a career transitioner, or maybe you are coming from a career gap, or maybe you are just a freshly grad, doesn't matter. You can take up the internships and volunteer work. Because if you work with others, they may actually help you by locating you your errors. But what if you actually become a freelancer from day one and you don't know anything about the industry? Let's assume the client may come to you, you make a huge problem in his things. What will happen? Will the client pay you? No. And even if he wish to recommend it, he will never do that. He will never recommend you. So in that case, what happens is, before starting, the market has already been destroyed. So first take experience, only then go for freelancing opportunity or personal projects. Until and unless you are clear, don't do this stupidity, because I have seen many young people doing the same thing again and again. So and you don't stand out either until and unless your basics are very much clear, because merely having a graduate degree from any field is not only criteria, right? So if you are looking for internship opportunities, that is the practical internship opportunities, you can definitely consider taking up the DP or the CIBTE course from our end. And once you complete the internship and the volunteer work, you can always create your portfolio of what you have done so far, so that it will be an add-on advantage for you to showcase it to your hiring manager during the interview or during the initial stage, if that's possible. Now moving ahead with the networking and job hunting, these are the four most important things in regard to networking and job hunting. First one is professional association. You have to attend or you have to take part in various knowledge communities that are happening these days. Various groups are there, various communities are there, various local privacy groups are there, so that you can actually learn more about the job opportunities and stay up to date on privacy developments, because I have seen people do write good things over there. Then conferences and webinars. Attending conferences and webinars is a great way to network. You learn about the latest trends, you get to know out the names. Also, if you want to stand out, you can prepare a few questions beforehand to ask speakers or panelists. Just don't go just because you want a certification or you just wish to be a dumb doll. If that is the purpose, please stay at your home only. Because when one is trying to be somebody who's trying to be a dumb doll, then of course it's going to be a problem. Because some other person at that point of time is actually raising up those questions or leveraging the power of networking. So please do not underestimate the networking thing. You can definitely, while you are visiting the conferences, you can definitely have the business card, like if you are into business. If not, then that's okay. You can definitely exchange the email addresses, or you can check the company profile of other person. You can start following them or send them the LinkedIn request, or whatever it might be, whatever the bestest possible way is. You can talk to the organizing team if they are looking forward for the volunteers. You can definitely ask them if they can consider you for the next time opportunity so that you can learn more about the events. Because while we are on the other side, while we are in the organizing committee, we have a different kind of understanding versus while we are just a listener or a attendee. Then LinkedIn, your LinkedIn profile should be very strong. Again, that depicts your personal brand. It's like a kind of a online resume, which is a mirror to your exact personality. So you need to highlight your privacy skills and experiences. And as I have mentioned earlier, you need to associate with the professionals over there. You need to join the privacy groups, right? You can also leverage LinkedIn's job search. Then job boards, LinkedIn, Indeed, Naukri.com, Glassdoor, Ambitious Box. There are n number of job boards that you find. And please stop asking people to let you know about the jobs. Honestly, because I received these kind of a request from some people, which pisses me off just for a simple reason I don't know them. And even if I know you or you know me, why will I share the link of a job with you? Don't you think that's the responsibility of the person who's actually looking forward to the job? Right? If you are not clear about your own search, why will somebody else will help you out? It's not their responsibility to help you out. You have to make out your own pick. Do you think it's your responsibility to help me? No, at least not for jobs. So please don't reach out to people to refer you until and unless you have something important to showcase in your resume. Don't ghost them basically. That if they come across some post, they will share you. Nobody will do that. Nobody. Nobody has that kind of a time. Nobody will remember actually, moreover. Even if they are willing to help, nobody is actually can remember that that person has asked me about the job. So you have to be very active. Start maintaining the relationships. Once you build the relationship, once you maintain them, then maybe they will help you out. But if you unnecessarily ghost them, or if you just put in a lot of efforts, then of course that is not possible. Then informational interviews. So basically, these are a kind of a casual conversation with the professionals in the field of your interest area. It's eventually a very great way, which I personally like, where you actually get to know about different career paths. You gain insights into the current industry and build your network. And of course, be prepared with the questions. Please don't just leave hi message to them anywhere, neither in email or nor LinkedIn or WhatsApp. No, this is not a right approach. If you're just leaving a hi message and how are you, nobody is going to respond to you. They may get these kind of a message like 50 messages in a day, every professional. So it's better that you should create a proper message or a proper email before approaching them and ask them the relevant questions, right? You can talk about their career journey. You can ask about their day-to-day responsibility or any advice that they would like to give you in regard to the career or in the privacy. They may help you out in that regard, but it's just that you know the way to approach them. You should not sell them at first instant. Try to seek from what others are having. So that is known as the informational interviews. Now, please remember that job hunting is a long process. It will eventually takes a lot of your time, energy, efforts, and persistence. You have to be disciplined. But as I also mentioned, that never underestimate the power of networking. So staying informed I'm sorry about that. Alright. Just a sec, I think there's some issue. Hmm. So as I have mentioned that interviews are the most important part, and leveraging your network is never been a fail opportunity. It's a great opportunity. It will eventually help you out, but you have to be very careful. If somebody is not responding you after your 2 or 3 follow-ups, please don't email or message. They might be not willing to help, right? And again, please, again, do not, if somebody is responding or helping you out, please don't bombard with them even. If you keep on bombarding them, then also that's a problem, because one day eventually they will stop responding to you. Now let's see how your interview will eventually help you out, right? How's that going to help you out? So let's assume you have prepared your resume, you have shared that or emailed that to the HR, and now you have been shortlisted for the interview round. So there are going to be multiple interview rounds, as we all know. The HR round is there, the technical subject round is there, the even in some companies there's one behavioral and cultural round is there these days. Generally there are two technical rounds, like one from your hiring manager and one could be on the senior level manager. So once you know the correct strategy of how you are going to ace the interview, then it will eventually help you out a lot. So this is the method that I have simply put in it for you. So the number one is research the company. So when I say research the company, what does that mean? It simply means that you need to research more about the company, right? You need to explore their website. You need to check on their social media, their blog. You should know their mission, their values, and the services. Read their privacy policies to understand their approach towards the data protection, because you are applying for that role. So you should know. And even they may ask this question. So in that way, you can definitely help, because tomorrow they may raise a questions in regard to terms of use. You should know the responses, how they are collecting the data, what kind of a security measures are they putting in, etc. You also have to read some news articles and press releases. Generally, all the thing is mentioned on the website, but even if it's not, then you can simply Google or check for the newspapers. Check out their privacy initiatives or any challenges that they might have faced in past a few years. Research about their competitors to understand the industry landscape and how the company is unique. So this impact If you actually ace the researching method, this will surely impact your interview, because there are only 0.01% people who eventually does all these things. 99% of the people come with a bare mind, like they don't have any information what does the company do, which is wrong. Don't do that mistake, right? Prepare for technical questions. Be prepared to discuss various relevant privacy issues and laws like GDPR, CCPA, DPDP, or any other kind of a law. You also have to familiarize yourself with some technical things like encryption, decryption, access control, CIA, triad. These are very basics of cyber security or the data security, whatever you might say. AI governance, basics, right? Then you can practice answering the hypothetical questions about how you are going to handle the data privacy or any privacy complaint. Because they may ask you, they may give you a hypothetical situation and want you to respond, like we did today. Then be ready to explain about your past experiences. Even it has nothing to do with the privacy, that's okay. But you can definitely emphasize on how you have equipped yourself with those relevant skills. Then showcase your soft skills, like explain complex privacy concepts in clear, concise language that showcases your communication skills. Share your previous examples of how you have collaborated with other teams to ensure the teamwork. Describe a challenging situation, whatever you have faced in your past and how you have approached it. Could be a problem solving skill. Even if you were not into a full-time job, or you are just a fresher, or you are coming back from a career gap, doesn't matter. You could always relate all these things, even from your personal life. You also need to focus on the adaptability as one of your major soft skills. Reason being, you have to showcase them that you can learn things quite quickly and you are ready to adapt the changes. Then ask thoughtful questions. Many people I have seen that just because these things are into great hype, that please ask question, it doesn't mean that you are going to ask irrelevant questions from the interviewer. Please ask only thoughtful questions. For example, what does the privacy policy, sorry, what does the company's privacy programs align with in its overall mission? You can ask more about the team where they might be hiring you. You can talk about the professional development opportunities of the current role for which you are interviewing. So even if you don't have any kind of a question, just say thank you and come back. But please, at least don't ask irrelevant questions if you don't have any questions. Although I would want that if you are going for an interview, you can prepare 2, 3 questions in your mind that, okay, I can ask this. You know why all these things are important? Because interview is actually a chance to shine and showcase yourself that you are different from others. By thoroughly researching the company, preparing for the technical questions, showcasing your soft skills, and asking thoughtful questions can eventually lead to a long lasting impression and increase your chances of landing the job. Always remember, interviews are two-way street. It's your opportunity to assess whether the company and the role are a good fit for you as well. It's not like that whether I will be rejected by them or not. Maybe I don't like the culture after talking to the HR or the concerned person. Maybe I have other offers also in my hand and I need to think about the work culture or the work-life balance or the cultural advantages or any other kind of a thing, right? So these questions will eventually help you out. So always prepare these 4 pointers while you are going for any kind of a interview. Now talking about beyond the first job career paths. So there are numerous career paths and different kinds of a role available. For example, when I talk in terms of a specialization, there are roles which are associated with privacy laws, privacy technologies, compliance, and consulting, researching, right? These are the sub-specializations of the data privacy. Now, what does a privacy law does? People does. So basically, they look into the legal aspects of data protections in firms and corporate legal departments. They develop and implement privacy enhancing technologies, working as privacy solution softwares, security architects or engineers. Then compliance people could be some kind of a auditor, privacy analyst could be there. They look into the compliance of these organizations and adherence to the existing privacy laws and standards. Then consulting. Their job is to advise company on privacy related issues, conduct various kind of assessments, and develop privacy programs. There are even other specializations. For example, healthcare privacy exception, education privacy, privacy marketing, right? So these are the kind of a specialization, further specializations that you could eventually do in your career once you enter in this field. You can pick one or two, whatever suits you the best. But for the initial years, learn whatever you can. Then talking about the leadership role. So there are various leadership roles, for example, chief privacy officer, head of privacy, privacy program manager, data protection officer, right? The chief privacy officer is the top privacy executive in an organization, or a data protection officer. They are the top most people in the hierarchy, right? So these are the leadership roles. But obviously, you will reach to these leadership roles when you have contained that kind of experience and work. Then continued learning. As I've mentioned, do not underestimate the power of conferences and webinars. Always attend them. Pursue additional trainings and certifications, whatever required. Stay connected with the people, because sometimes you'll get to know some of the great networking opportunities. Some are very close knitted groups, so you may not get the opportunity, but they are quite good. At that moment of time, your networking plays an important role. So that's all from my end. Thank you very much. I'm open to question and answers. You can definitely ask about the certain questions if you have any. Let me open the chat box for you. And this is the e-learning page where you will find all the courses and trainings that we are working on. So like today, the session was free. So we have created another masterclass on how to tackle case studies in data privacy interviews. So you will find all the information of how you can actually tackle case studies, actually a very important part in the data privacy interviews. So they will give you certain kind of a case studies, certain kind of a questions, and you have to respond them in a very easy manner, because they want to check your further communication, like further approach, how you are going to hold that approach. So if anybody is preparing for any kind of a privacy interviews or privacy case studies, then this is a good course to take up. It contains with two exercises with the feedback, plus a small recording where the step-to-step approach is actually talked about. Now talking about the certified training on the data protection officer, now that's a very amazing thing that I was telling you about. So basically it's a 4 to 5 week program that we are launching in the month of August, and it will be only on the weekends. So the 4 weeks are a compulsory program where you will be trained and taught each and everything in the training manner. Plus 2 weeks internship is also there, which is optional. If you are looking forward to internship into this arena, then of course we will provide that kind of a certification as well. But if somebody is not willing to do the internship, it's their call. We have no obligation. So the purpose of keeping it with internship is only that to make them understand that it's not just that you came to the class, you attended the class, and that's all. No, You should know how the things are going to happen in the real world, right? Because even in your program, the Cyber Law Practicum, we have ensured that you get some kind of a practical knowledge once you have done with your 6-week program. But this hands-on data protection officers course is on another level. It's a kind of a job-oriented training. So it is very important, and it will be properly focusing on GDPR and DPDPA. Another important thing about this training is that we are providing 3 more premium courses in accordance to the hands-on training on data protection officer to ensure that the person has the clear understanding and a very good understanding about the privacy laws, right? So even if you have certain kind of a questions, please click here and then you can fill up the query form. The team will definitely get back to you. Once you're done with this course, I'm 100% sure that for existing people who are already into jobs, it is said that it will eventually take at least 30 to 40% hike in their salaries. Because if they can prove that they have that kind of a certification and that kind of a particular knowledge in their domain, their companies are actually willing to pay them more. And even if you are a fresher, you can definitely take it as a refresher or a primer course, and then you can move ahead. The difference between the CIPP training and this DPO training is that CIPP is totally dedicated to the legal aspect. However, the DPO training talks about the technical plus legal both, because it has the hands-on experience. So there will be samples, there will be mocks, there will be templates provided to the attendees. And this is the program for which you people have enrolled, some of you, followed by some of the cyber essential security training for non-techs. This is a training which is a training for non-technical people. This is one such course that we conducted in April. This is also a hands-on training only. This is the drafting of legal essentials for a website. So you will find all the details about all the courses in this segment. Let me just paste the link for you. And by the time, let me see if we have any questions. The data controller is not the same thing, dear. Data controller is somebody who actually controls your data. It has nothing to do with the data controller or the data processor. These are the concepts mentioned under the GDPR or any other kind of a law. Data controller who controls your data. Data processor who processes your data on the behalf of data. It has nothing to do with how to become a DPO, because data processor and data controller are generally organizations or business who are looking forward to the customer's data. But the DPO is a data protection officer who is actually the part of any kind of a organization who eventually looks into the collection usages and other important aspects of the privacy. And trust me, directly, of course, you cannot be on the highest hierarchy, but the courses are generally named in that so that you have a better understanding. Firstly, you will be nominated or you will be admitted in any kind of organization as privacy analyst, data privacy counsel, or maybe privacy auditor, something like that. Because if you are fresher, please understand, how will you be directly admitted to a DPO? It is one of the most powerful person in the privacy world in an organization, right? More powerful than the director and the senior director as well.